Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm the Book Geek, and today finally I'm going to do some book stuff. I'm going to bring you my February and March wrap up. I'm going to try to get this to fit in one video, but I have a whole lot to cover. So I know I said that my February and March wrap up was going to be combined into one video, but I just got so much to talk about. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it to fit all in one video. Like, it may be too long. Like, I can get it to fit in one video, but it may just be too long. So I might break it up into two parts or just make two separate videos altogether. So first we're going to start with the February wrap up. And as you know, if you've seen my last wrap up video, my wrap ups now include everything. My movie wrap up, book wrap up, book haul, merch haul, everything. So let's get started. Of course, I always start my wrap-ups with a quote of the month. And the quote of the month for the month of February was, "It's a cruel, cruel world, and the people are the worst part." And that quote comes from Dredd Nation. So for the month of February, I read 4 books. I read 1,212 pages. I read from 1 male author and 3 female authors. I read 1 romance, 1 fantasy, 1 historical fiction, and 1 biography. As far as ratings go, I had 3 5-star ratings and 1 4-star rating. The books that I read for the month are, first up is The Sun is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon, with the publication date of being published November of 2016. This was my romance book. It could also be a contemporary. Books tend to fall into more than one genre category. And my TBR wheel actually helped me pick this book. I spun the wheel twice, I believe, for the month of February. And one of the times it landed on the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge for the 2019 reading year. And the first prompt for the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge is to read a book that's becoming a movie in 2019. This movie will be out, I believe, in May. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it's coming out in May. I had a 5-star prediction for this book. My actual rating was 5 stars. This book is about a young girl whose family is due to be deported. Her father made some mistake and it caused their citizenship to be discovered, and so now they're being deported. And she's on a mission to try and find any type of assistance she can at the last minute that will help her family remain in the country. And while doing so, she runs into Daniel. Or rather, he runs into her as he's trying to save her. So they spend this remarkable day together, and it was just a really, really cute story. They end up falling for each other and discovering a lot about one another in such a short time frame. It's a book that definitely pulls on your heartstrings. And in this book, you have a specific chain of events occurring throughout the universe that caused these two people, Daniel and Natasha, to come together. That caused every moment in this book. And it was very interesting the way the author constructed that. So there are a specific chain of events occurring throughout this entire story and throughout their universe, which helps shape certain circumstances and outcomes. I love this book. It pulled at my heartstrings, and I cannot wait to watch the movie. I also read Dredd Nation, and this one has a publication date of April 2018. This was my fantasy read, and this was also one of my highly anticipated reads for this year. I had a 5-star prediction for this book. My actual rating for this book was 4 stars. And so what this book is about is we have, well, the dead have risen. And this is set during the time of like Gettysburg and all of that. And so black people are sent to like these combat schools, and black people are given the job of defeating the dead and keeping everybody else safe. And so we have Jane. I love her. She is fearless. She is such a badass. She is a great fighter, and she is sort of ahead of her time, because the women during this era don't behave the way Jane behaves. She is very, very feisty. I like her. I love how she can adapt to any situation she's put in. And what I found interesting about this story is the living, both white and black, the living, they, all races that make up the living have this common enemy with the dead. And yet, there's still such a division based on race. So even though we're all living and we should all be on one side, trying to defeat our common enemy, which are the dead, we still have this huge race issue that causes a divide between the living. So the black people and all other people of color are really fighting two battles. We have to fight against adversity, racism, segregation, stereotypes, all of that nonsense. And we have to fight against the dead. I thought that was very interesting. This book also had some very strong female characters. And the way it ended, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a second part, and I cannot wait for that. I'm interested to see where Jane goes from here. I also read Breath, Eyes, Memory. This one has a publication date of May 1998, and this was my historical fiction read. My monthly TBR wheel helped me choose this book as well. The second time I spun the wheel, it landed on new author / author I've never read / author I've never heard of before. So I chose to read from an author that I've never read before. I gave this one a 5-star prediction. My actual rating was 5 stars. In this book, you have a young girl who is living in Haiti with her aunt. Her mother has gone to America and left her daughter in Haiti with the aunt. And now the mother is asking for her daughter to be sent to America. She wants her daughter to join her in America now. We get to experience how both Sophie and her aunt, who is raising her, deal with this sudden realization that she's going to be leaving this place that she's known as home all these years and going to this whole new place to live with this mother that she doesn't really know. And once she reunites with her mother in America, we also follow Sophie and her mother on this journey of them trying to get to know each other. This book was rich in Haitian culture. I really felt like I was learning a piece of Haitian tradition and history. It is a story of immigration. It is a story of belonging. We follow all of these characters as their values are tested and their family traditions are tested. In this book, each generation of women portrayed in this family are gripping with the tragedies of their past and trying to ensure that each generation that comes after them is spared of the things that they had to experience in their life, thus granting them a brighter, more successful future. It was a remarkable story, and it really reminded me of a lot of things that I've experienced in my own family, and I'm sure the whole family dynamics can be relatable across the board in many cultures. I also read The Other Wes Moore by Wes Moore. This is the true life story about two boys with the same name who grew up in the same area, who ended up taking different paths in life. One ended up very successful, and the other one ended up going down the wrong tracks and ended up in prison. And so it's the perfect example about how positive reinforcement and positive support can foster opportunities in life, and what can happen when you lack those type of that type of positivity in your life. It was very interesting. I don't give prediction ratings for someone's memoir, real life accounts, and I don't rate biographies. I'm not going to rate someone's life. However, I will rate the book based on how enthralled I was with it, how engaged I was with it. And as far as this one is concerned, I put the book down several times. Maybe I just wasn't in the mood for that type of book. But as far as keeping me fully engaged and interested completely, I'm going to give it 4 stars. But based on what the story is about, I'm not going to rate that because I'm not going to rate someone's life. Now, on to some fun stuff. Enough with the heavy, right? Okay, so as you know, I'm going to wrap up with my movies and TV shows as well. And I watched a lot of TV and movies during the month of February, so I have a lot to talk about. So, the first thing I'm going to talk about as far as my movie and TV wrap-up is American Horror Story. I watched the complete season, Freak Show season, American Horror Story Freak Show. I freaking loved it. Now, I had started American Horror Story a long time ago and just was not a fan of it. I understand that each season is a different story. And so I decided to get back into it, and I picked it up at this season, the Freak Show season, and I absolutely love it. Now, I don't know if it's because I've always been interested in the Freak Show Carnival and circus. I've always been interested in that. I've always wanted to see a real life Freak Show circus, and I've always been fascinated with that in that time period as well. So maybe I was a little biased, but this one kept me engaged more than the prior seasons that I've seen before. I thought it was very compelling. I thought it was horrifying, especially Twisty. Oh my God, he was so scary, and I was kind of sad to see him go so early in the season. But I thought that we had some very interesting characters with very interesting backgrounds as well. Of course, a lot of our favorite characters were back again. Jessica Lange, Sarah Paulson, Evan Peters, plus many, many, many more. And we actually had some real life freaks. I don't like to call them freaks, but you know, real life people who had these different physical differences. Maybe not so much now, but back then when people were born different because of whatever, they had some type of deformity or what have you, they could run away to the circus or to the carnival, to the Freak Show circus or carnival, and they would have this sense of belonging and this sense of family and unity that they couldn't find elsewhere. And I just loved that. And I don't know, I just loved the Freak Show season. It's my favorite so far. I gave it 5 stars. I also finished watching Breaking Bad. I know I'm late to the game. With this one. This is well after the hype, okay? Fucking fantastic show. Oh my God. And I binge watched it. Like, I would watch several episodes back to back. I mean, I was up sometimes 2, 3 o'clock in the morning watching Breaking Bad because it was just so freaking good. I just had to see the next episode. I had to know what was going to happen. So, if you don't know, Breaking Bad is a drama or crime drama, and it's starring Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul, to name a couple of stars. In this show, we have Walter White, that we're first introduced to, and he's just been diagnosed with cancer. So as a way to generate some money, a lot of money, to ensure that his family will be taken care of in case of his untimely death, and to also bring in some money to help pay for medical bills, he starts to make meth. And he's a chemistry teacher, so he's really, really good at this formula that he's developed in making crystal meth. And so he teams up with Jesse, who is portrayed by Aaron Paul, and they start this meth business, and it just spirals out of control from there. And so at first you very much empathize and sympathize with Walt, but later on throughout the show, his character development and transformation is so intense that he sort of becomes the anti-hero of the show. And yet it's still all gray, because at moments, even when he's the villain, there are some things that he does during some particular moments that make you still love him and care about this character. So it was some of the best storytelling that I've seen in a television show. It's definitely worth all the hype. And I mean, the cinematography was great. The acting was unbelievable. I mean, everybody on this show was incredible at portraying their roles. It just got better with each season and with each episode. It was suspenseful. It was addictive. I gave it 5 stars. I freaking loved it. Definitely worth all the hype. You should definitely check it out if you haven't already. Next, I finally finished watching Scandal. I finally wrapped up with the last season. And Scandal is a drama TV series starring Kerry Washington. She plays Olivia Pope. This drama is engrossed in politics. We get to see how political powers struggle and the gray area of that power. Everyone is out for power in this show, and we get to see the dark, ugly side of politics. And in this series, we have Olivia Pope, portrayed by Kerry Washington, and she likes to call herself a gladiator, the person who wears the white hat. She usually solves issues, but we see a transformation with her character as well as the series goes on, where she's very much hungry for power, and she has this whole political agenda of being in charge, and she's such a great fucking character. Her acting is superb, and the fact that we have these powerful women in these positions of such great power. They hold so much in their hands. They're responsible for so much, and they're really fucking good at it. It was fantastic to see. I gave this show 5 stars, and I would recommend it to anyone if you have not seen it yet. I mean, oh my goodness. Really great characters. Fitz, Millie, just so much great storytelling. I also finished watching Once Upon a Time, which is a fantasy drama, and I gave this one 4 stars. Once Upon a Time was a long-running show, and I like to think of it sort of like a fantasy soap opera. Lots of drama in the show. Fairies, witches, spells, and a whole slew of other fairy tale creatures make up this entire series. And each comes with their own complex retelling. A complex retelling of each intertwined. I freaking love the show. I also watched Cam. I discovered this movie on Netflix. It is a horror / mystery / suspense movie. I gave it 3 stars. In this movie, we have a sex worker who is in this competitive online business, and her account is taken over by an algorithm. And we follow our main character as she struggles to recover her online personality and battle with this online imposter that's stolen her online identity. It was very interesting. And I like how it showed how social media and becoming an internet sensation has sort of taken over. It's kind of like the norm nowadays. You see people recording things instead of coming to the aid of people and putting it on the internet for likes. And so it shows just how far people are willing to go for that sort of attention. So even though it wasn't my favorite, I'm very neutral when it comes to this movie because I do understand the message that it was trying to deliver, and I did find it very interesting, but it just didn't keep me entertained enough to give it a higher rating, so I gave it 3 ratings. And if you guys don't know, I do a 5-star rating type of thing for books and movies. I do not give half a ratings. It's either 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So this one was just a 3 for me. But I would suggest checking the movie out. You may really enjoy it. Like I said, it was interesting. I also watched 13 Cameras. This one is a horror movie. And in this movie, we have this, I'm assuming he's the landlord. We see this young couple moving into a new home. And the landlord has installed 13 cameras all throughout the house. And he's spying on them. And he ends up tormenting them. I didn't really care too much for it, but it did keep me quite entertained. I won't be watching 14 Cameras. They have another one called 14 Cameras. I won't be watching that one. I didn't find it interesting enough to continue watching the sequel, but it wasn't the most terrible movie, but it wasn't the best either. It was very much a cautionary tale if you think about it. How we need to be more careful and more vigilant about the things that's going on around us. I also watched I.O. This is a science fiction movie, and I gave it 3 stars. So, on a post-apocalyptic Earth that is toxic now, a young scientist whose name is Sam, she remains on the planet while most others have fled. People have abandoned the Earth because it's toxic to live on now. The air is toxic. She is determined to find a way for people to survive on Earth again. We have another character that shows up. For the most part, Sam is alone. And then Micah shows up. Micah shows up with the intentions of confronting Sam's dad, who has died. Our 2 characters, Micah and Sam, are on opposite ends of the spectrum. Sam is full of hope, while Micah has abandoned all sense of hope. I did really enjoy the movie, but at times I found it kind of dull. I did really enjoy it, and I was to recommend checking it out, but I gave it 3 stars just because at times it was sort of dull. I also watched Await Further Instructions. This is a horror / sci-fi mystery movie. I gave this one 4 stars. What it's about is this family wakes up to discover a strange black substance surrounding the entire house. There is no way out. There's no inkling as to what's happening, except a simple message plastered across the TV screen that reads, await further instructions. This movie had a lot of messages in it, especially people's obedience to authority. Not saying that we shouldn't be obedient to authority and whatnot. We have to have law and order or things will turn into chaos. But how much stock do you hold in your government to the point where you're injecting yourself with some strange substance, unsterilized strange substance, just because you think the government might be responsible and they're the ones who told you to do it? You don't even know what you're putting in your body, and yet you hold so much faith in your own government that you trust them enough to inject yourself with some strange substance. It was astounding. And this movie also depicts how media can control and influence our lives. I think that is why the TV screen was used to, you know, instruct his family to do certain things, because everything this television instructs his family to do, they oblige. They go right along with it. They don't have any clue as to what's going on, but they're listening to the TV anyway. Very, very interesting. Very fucking interesting. And racism is also an issue that comes up in this movie, and it has a little bit to do with the father, who was like the main control of the house. He's the one who has the most influence, and a part of the reason why he behaves the way he does during this situation at the home has a lot to do with his hatred towards the immigrants, and his racism, and because of his prejudice. So lots of social and racial issues, and just a really great movie. Low budget, but it was a good movie. I gave it 4 stars. Now, on to some of the books I hauled for the month of February. In the month of February, I didn't buy many books. Like I stated before, not buying so many books this year. So I have 5 books to show you guys. So first up is The 12 Days of Dash and Lily. I thought this one might be a cute little holiday story, and that is why I picked it up. So it says, Dash and Lily have had a tough year since they first fell in love among the shelves of their favorite bookstore. Lily's beloved grandfather suffered a heart attack, and his difficult road to recovery has taken a major toll on her typically sunny disposition. With only 12 days left until Christmas, Lily's favorite time of year, Dash, Lily's brother Langston, and their closest friend must take Manhattan by storm to help Lily recapture the unique holiday magic of a glittering, snow-covered New York City in December. Now, I've heard good things about Dash and Lily's Book of Dares, which is why when I saw this one, I picked this one up. And Nick and Nora is also a book that's on my TBR list, and I love the Nick and Nora Infinite Playlist movie. One of my favorite movies. So I couldn't when I saw this one for only like $2 at Ollie's, I just said what the hell and picked it up. So sounds like a cute little, quick little read. Can't wait to read it. I also got Now I Rise by Kirsten White. This is the sequel to And I Darken. I actually have And I Darken, but I have not read it yet. So I need to make that a priority. But like I said, it's hard to pass up on these books when you're in the store and they're only like $2. This was only $2, so what the hell? I just picked it up. Like I said, have not read And I Darken, so I can't really even tell you what this book is about. I'm not going to read the synopsis because I don't want to spoil myself. But I'm going to try and make this a priority. But like I said, I got so many great books I want to read this year. So this might have to go on next year's list. I also got Akata Warrior. And I'm not sure if this is the first book or the second book in this series. But it's a fantasy type of story. So of course we have magic and mystery and a girl who's going to be fighting to save humanity. That's all I really know about this story. I think there's going to be some traveling between different worlds and a lot of struggle. It sounds very interesting. I'd like to go into books not knowing too much about the plot. So I don't really want to know too much. I was also sent a book. I was on Instagram and I saw that one of my favorite authors, Kalisha Buchanan, was coming out with a new book this summer. And I just commented, oh my God, I love this book. I need this book. I can't wait to get this book, And the publishers, I think it was, got in touch with me. They responded and they got in touch with me and they sent me a copy of the book. So I have an arc of Speaking of Summer by Kalisha Buchanan. Oh my God. Look at this cover. This cover is so beautiful. I don't know what this book is about, but it's by one of my favorite authors and she's very underrated. She wrote Upstate and she wrote this book called Conception that just completely ripped me apart. Just pulled out my heart and crushed it in front of me. Very emotional reads, both of them. So I am so excited to be reading this, and I am so grateful that they sent me this book. So Counterpoint sent me this book, and it will be on sale July 30th of this year. So thank you, Counterpoint, for sending me this book. I really, really appreciate it. Just very quickly, I'm going to read the synopsis here on the back. It says, on a cold December evening, Autumn Spencer's twin sister, Summer, walks to the roof of their shared Harlem brownstone and is never seen again. The door to the roof is locked, and the snow holds only one set of footprints. Faced with authorities indifferent to another missing black woman, Autumn must pursue the search for her sister all on her own. With her friends and neighbors, Autumn pretends to hold up through the crisis, but the loss becomes too great, the mystery too inexplicable, and Autumn starts to unravel, all the while becoming obsessed with the various murders of local women and the men who killed them, thinking their stories and society's complacency towards them might shed light on what really happened to her sister. And speaking of Summer, critically acclaimed author Kalisha Buchanan has created a fast-paced story of urban peril and victim invisibility in the fight to discover the complicated truths at the heart of every family. Oh my God. I know she's going to rip my heart out. Oh, why does she do this to me? I can't wait to read this. This is on my TBR for the month of April, and I'm really hoping I can get to it. I'm going to make this one a priority. I need to read this book. I haven't read a book from her in years. I need to read this. Okay, and so just very quickly, because I'm running out of time, I'm going to show you some of the other merch that I purchased. So I have a few bookmarks and things like that to show you. So I have a friend in Sweden that I met through Instagram, and he sent me a little package. He sent me some Swedish candy, which I'll insert a picture of it after this clip. And he sent me a bookmark and a very nice card, so I'm going to show that to you now. He sent me this cute little cat bookmark. As you guys know, I love bookmarks. I have over 100 bookmarks, but he sent me this cute little bookmark, and there's some Swedish writing here on the bag. I don't know what that says, but I thought that was cute. And he sent me a bag of candy from Sweden. And he sent me this cute little unicorn card. That's so adorable. And inside it says, I hope you'll enjoy the candy and good luck with reading all your books. You're really cool and I wish you all the best. I hope you can achieve your dreams, get a job that you love, and live a happy and healthy life. So thank you, David, so much for the candy and the card and the bookmark. I love it. And I also got a couple of other bookmarks, and I'll list the shop name in the description down below. But I have this fantastic Night King bookmark, and it says, the long night is coming and the dead come with it. And it's two-sided, it's double-sided. And I hope you guys can see that. I also have this fan-freaking-tastic paper doll bookmark from the same shop of the Bent Neck Lady, which is just fucking terrific. Double-sided. She looks fantastic. The greatest thing I got this month was another crochet doll. From Omiki. I hope I'm saying your name right. Crochet. I'll list the shop name down below. Let me show you this doll, guys. Oh my god. So this is my third doll from her, I believe. And it is a Chucky Doll. Oh my god. He's so terrific. He is so fucking great. Look at him. He's so adorable. She did such an excellent job. I love him so much. And I'm trying to, find a better way to display my douse. But I'm making it my business to have like a whole collection from her. Yeah, this was the greatest thing I got this month. This was so fucking fantastic. I love it. He is just to die for. She did an excellent job. I hope you can see everything. Like she's terrific. You should definitely check her shop out. I'll link it down below. So that's it, guys, for my February wrap up. The battery's low and the flash went off. So anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications, and I will talk to you guys another time. Bye.